Exam Prep, and welcome to this part 4 of this series that we have been doing for days now, DILR Booster Series, Score Booster Series. So it's the fourth session of the series, and I'm Saral Sir with you again today for this session. So before I start, I would just like to know, am I clearly audible and visible to each one of you? Please confirm that once. After that, we'll start with our today's session as well. So the last few sessions, what are we doing? In the last few sessions, we have talked about questions which are based upon tables. We talked about questions which are based upon line graph. In the last class, we talked about those. And today's class would be about questions which are based upon bar graphs now. Okay. As I told you initially that what are we going to do in all of these sessions? We'll be talking about DI first, the different types of DIs, and after that I'll be moving on to logical reasoning part as well, and then we'll be talking about logical reasoning too, and we'll be doing a lot many sets on logical reasoning. So we do this series every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Many of you would be already aware of it. So for the other people who don't know, let me just tell you that every Wednesday at 9 p.m. we do this session. Okay. Today is the fourth session of the series. So we'll start with it once I get a confirmation from you guys that everything is fine. There is no doubt, no problem. I mean, I am clearly audible. I am clearly visible. If all is okay, then we can start with our session now. शुरू कर देते हैं फिर हम लोग. Okay. So as I told you that in today's class we are going to start with the bar graphs now. Okay. If I talk about the last few years, so I did not find any question in CAT which is on line graphs. But yes, there have been questions on bar graphs. There have been questions on tables. There have been questions on pie charts as well. I mean, though they are different kind of pie charts, we'll be talking about them later. So this all we have seen in the last few years that have been there. So bar graph is something on which we have seen questions. And as we all know, it's not only CAT that we are preparing for, there are other things as well. There are other exams as well. And many of those exams would be having questions on different areas. Bar graph is definitely one of those. So I hope that in today's class, you would be able to understand a few things in bar graphs as well. And you would be able to understand some of the shortcuts or some of the usages of bar graphs that we can do. Okay. So yes, Supreme Gaming is saying that it is audible and visible, everything is fine. I would have liked to get a response from the other people as well. So please tell me if all is fine. Then we can start with our today's session now. Okay. So let us start with the first one. As I said that it is about the bar graphs today. So I'm starting with the first set, which is a question from CAT 2004. Slightly on the difficult side from those years, you can say. Probably some of you would have seen this set before if you would have prepared for CAT before as well. If not, we will be talking about this today. So you have this information in front of you on your screen. Just read this information, look at the graph, and then from the next page, we will start solving it. So all of you, please read it once and then we'll start with it. Gitanjali Singh, very good evening. Deburaj, hello, good evening. And I would request all of you to just share this session with your friends as well. I mean, whoever wants to join, they can join, because live in the live sessions, when we have more and more people, I mean, even my enthusiasm would be better in those cases if I see that yes, many people are watching these sessions, and you guys of course can tell this better, that how useful it has been for you. Okay. So but if I say that okay, these sessions are useful for your DILR preparation, they won't probably listen to me, but they'll definitely listen to you if you get a benefit out of it. So please share these sessions with your friends. So anyone who is preparing for CATs, or if you are on a WhatsApp group or Telegram group or somewhere, so you can just share it right now and tell them that it's a live session so they can attend. And in a live session, when we have more and more interaction, things get better then. Yes, so all of you read this and let me know if you have any kind of question here. If it is all clear, then we can start with the solution on the very next page. Good evening, Shruti. You too have a good evening. Hello, Himanshi. Hello. So I hope that all of you have read the information till now. Can I assume that yes, everyone has read the information completely? So what is the information about? Let's have a look at this. It's a question from actual CAT paper. As I told you, CAT mein aaya tha. That's exactly what we are discussing over here. So by doing these sets, basically two purposes are solved. First, that we get to know a little bit about bar graphs. Second, we get to know about the kind of questions that are asked in CAT. So therefore, both the things would be solved by this. So let's start doing this. Answer the questions on the basis of the information given below. It says Purana and Naya are two brands of kitchen mixer grinders available in the local market. Purana is an old brand that was introduced in 1990 while Naya was introduced in 1997. So I hope probably we can see from the data as well that in 1997 I see that this figure starts. Before that it was 0, whereas this figure was running every year. ये हर साल चलती चली जा रही. After that it says that for both of these brands 20% of the mixer grinders bought in a particular year. Now this is important. 20% of the mixer grinders bought in a particular year. ठीक है, जो खरीदे गए हैं एक साल में are disposed of as junk. Disposed of matlab you can say they are discarded, they are thrown away, wasted as junk exactly 2 years later. Exactly 2 years later ka matlab if they are purchased in 2004 they would be discarded in 2006. If purchased in 2005 they would be discarded in 2007. Exactly 20% of them. So in a way I can say, let us say I bought 10 mixer grinders in 1998. So in 2000, that is after 2 years, 2 of those 10 mixer grinders would be discarded. They would be disposed of. It is known that 10 Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 1997. The following figures show the number of Purana and Naya mixer grinders in operation from 1995 to 2000. So there is one thing that I want to tell all of you. I mean, I always had a problem in this, that here he has written grinders bought in a particular year, and here he says in operation. So I always used to have this question. I mean, I might be the only one having such questions. Okay, that is that in operation and bought, are they different or are they similar? ठीक है, कुछ फर्क है क्या इन दोनों बातों में? So 20% of this number which is given in the table would be discarded, or 20% of bought if that is different. So let me tell you that in these cases, in these things, all of these exam setters, they are very particular. They always keep this in their mind that we have to be particular about things. So if they are using the word bought and they are using a word in operation, because they mean different things, so therefore they are two different things only. Don't assume that okay, they might be similar. They would be exactly different. If they are similar, they would give it to you in the question. Okay. Good evening, Mohit Rao. I have done this question already. Himanshu, that's quite possible. Himanshi, sorry. As you can see, it's a question from CAT 2004. So you might have done it earlier. But yes, I would say that keep watching this video, because there possibly I might give a better solution that you have done before. Possibly. Okay? Or you would have already done the better one. That's also possible. So let's have a look at the solution of it. So what I have done, I have written the important information from the previous page over here, because answer the question from the directions given below. This data represents Naya and Purana mixer grinders. I just removed those. The information which is needed I have written over here. This is the graph that I needed to answer these questions. And now I'll start using this, that how this information can be put into this given data, and then how can I use it for the given questions. Operation mean in use, that's absolutely correct, Himanshi. Operation in operation का मतलब है जो use में है, and bought का मतलब of course different हो जाता है, which were purchased. Some of them might be in use, some of them might be disposed of, possibly है, लेकिन in operation definitely means which are being used. Okay. Hi Pranav Navarkar, good evening. So what I have done, that I have just written all of this data which is represented in this table. I have written all of this data in one single table, right? So that it is easy for me to figure out that what all is there. You can do that many times in bar graph based questions. So here I am just converting this bar graph into a table, but then I'll be doing some other questions as well, in which I'll show you that why bar graph becomes easy for us to understand things in some of the questions. Sometimes it is just a way of representing data. Sometimes that way is the best way of representing the data. We will be checking that one by one. So I have just made a table over here. तो मैं यहां से हटा के मैंने टेबल बनानी, पुराना मिक्सर ग्राइंडर्स, नया मिक्सर ग्राइंडर्स, whatever was in that graph, only those things I have written over here. Okay, whatever was in that graph, I have written only those things here in this table. As you can all see, 120, 162 वगैरह, this was all given in that graph. और नया के लिए 0, 0, 30, 80, 124 and 134. Now here in the given question data, he has talked about there were mixer grinders bought in a particular year, then some of them are disposed of, and this data is for those which are in operation, right? These are the only three things that have been talked about. यहाँ भी disposed of के बारे में बात कर रहा है, यहाँ in operation के बारे में बात कर रहा है. So basically there are three kind of पुराना मिक्सर ग्राइंडर्स और नया मिक्सर ग्राइंडर्स here which I have to talk about. One, how many of them are bought. Second, how many of them are disposed of. Third, how many of them are in operation. In operation is already given to you over here. उसमें से how many of them are bought, how many of them are in disposed of, उसके बारे में we'll be talking about. But looking at this table, can I surely say that there were 120 पुराना मिक्सर ग्राइंडर्स in operations in 1995 and in 1996 162. So can I say 42 more were in operation? Similarly, 20 more were in operation, 40 more were in operation, यहाँ पे 30 more were in operation. So these are the data of the mixer grinders which are in operation. This is not the data of the mixer grinders which are purchased or disposed of. यहाँ से हमें ये इसके बारे में नहीं पता लग रहा है. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the table a little bit expanded, where I would not only talk about Purana mixer grinders in operation, I would also be talking about Purana mixer grinders which were bought in a year. I'll also talk about the ones which are disposed of in a particular year. So let me just move to that table. So here I have made that table. Okay. Till now I have not changed anything in the table. The data is the same. We'll start filling up these now. So comparatively LR is easy or DI, Pranav, that completely depends upon the person's personal choice. So your personal choice might be कि आपको अच्छा लगे, किसी और की हो सकती है ना अच्छा लगे. You can't say about it. Okay, चलिए, let's start. First of all, I have seen an information here. It is known that 10 Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 1997. 10 Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 1997. So can I say this figure is 10? Okay, this figure is 10. And I also see it says that 20% of the mixer grinders bought in a particular year are disposed of as junk after 2 years. So if these 10 are disposed of over here, can I say these 10 are actually 20% of Purana mixer grinders bought 2 years back? यही कह रहा है ना ये 20% of those which are purchased in a year, they are disposed of after 2 years. तो अगर disposed of ये हैं, तो this 10 should be 20% of what was bought 2 years back. So what was bought 2 years back? Can I say it was equal to 50? Is that okay, guys? सही कह रहा हूं ना मैं ये बात? जो 1995 में we would have bought, 20% of that I would be disposing of in 1997. So अगर I am disposing of 10 in 1997, I must have purchased 50 in 1995. 50 purchase किया, उसका 20% dispose of हुआ, which is equal to 10. So that means this figure was equal to 50. Okay. Moreover, there is one more thing. There were 162 in operation in 1996. Next year, 10 of them are disposed of. So they should be 152. If they should be 152, but they are 182, so can I say 30 are bought in 1997? Is that right? All of you please tell me, is that understood? That if 162 were in operation in 1996, 182 were in operation in 1997, उस 162 में से 10 तो dispose of हो गए थे. So we should have left with 152. But if we should have left with 152, but I see 182 here, so where from that extra 30 came? That extra 30 must have been bought in 1997. Okay. So Supreme Goming and Sonali, they both are saying yes. I hope to see some messages from other guys as well. Now again, from these 30 which are bought in a particular year, 20% would be disposed of after 2 years. That means 6 of them would be disposed of in 1999. this is after 2 years, this is after 2 years. Dispose of होता है ना 2 years के बाद. So 30 का 20% 6 dispose of हो गया. Now out of this 222, if 6 are disposed of, so how many of them are left? 216. But how many do I have? 236. 216 से 236 कैसे हो गया? 20 must have been bought in 1999. 20 must have been bought in 1999. I hope all of you are getting this. Now from these 20% would be disposed of in 2001, but we do not have the data of 2001, so therefore I am not talking about that. I have just written these figures. How many of them are bought in these years? Can I get the data of this? Of course not, because I know 120 are operational. After buying 50, that means 70 were already there, but out of those 70, some of them would have been disposed of, that I don't know. So neither I know 1994 mein how many of them are in operation, and out of them how many of them were disposed of in 1995. I don't have the data for that. Similarly, do I have the data of 1996? No. From 120 it became 162, so I can say 42 more are in operation. But 42 more are in operation, उससे मुझे ये कैसे पता लगेगा how many of them were bought and how many of them were disposed of? After that 42 are left. So therefore I can't say anything about that data as well. उसके बारे में मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता. Similarly, the other figures. Now move on to the नया mixer grinders. Let's start talking about those ones now. नया mixer grinder के बारे में बात करते हैं. So now when I talk about the नया mixer grinders, in the नया mixer grinders you would see initially they were zero, so of course nothing disposed, nothing bought, nothing disposed, nothing bought. Can I say 1997 में first time नया mixer grinders were brought into operation? So of course there cannot be anything which is disposed of. So nothing is disposed of here. All 30 are bought in this particular year. I hope you all are agreed with that. Mohit has a question. Yes, Mohit. Mohit says, how come 20? Mohit, look at the figure of 1998. There were 222 Purana mixer grinders which were in operation. Next year, 6 of them, they were disposed of. 222 minus 6 is 216. But 216 should have been in operation. We see 236 are in operation. So where from that extra 20 came? We must have bought 20. And therefore I have written 20 over here. I hope you got it, Mohit. Similarly, now here, out of these 30, 20% would be disposed of here. That is equal to 6. So can I say nothing is disposed of here? क्योंकि इसका 20% dispose of होना था, वहीं कुछ नहीं हुआ, तो यहाँ पे कैसे dispose of होगा? So how come this increased by 50? Straight away 50 were purchased. Out of these 50, 10 would be disposed of over here. Again, going by the same logic as we did in Purana mixer grinders, 80 से 124 हुआ, but 80 में से first of all 6 were disposed of. 80 minus 6 is 74, but we have 124, so 50 were bought in this year as well. Similarly, 124 minus 10, 114, 114 की जगह 134 कैसे आ गया? 20 were purchased in this year, and that ways we can get all the figures for नया mixer grinder, but we can't get all the figures for the Purana mixer grinder because they are only limited to some of the years. Data हमें सिर्फ 1997 का दिया था. Had he given the data of 1996 as well, we could have calculated the other values for Purana mixer grinders too. So these all values once are calculated, now I am pretty sure whatever question he would be asking you would be based upon these figures only. और पूछेगा भी क्या? He would be asking you about these only. How many of them were disposed of in this year? How many of them were bought in this year? So on and so forth. So I would just look at this table now and I would answer all the questions. I hope all of you are okay with the solution. All of you have understood this. Please tell me fast. Is it clear? Can we move on to the solution now? Questions now? Because once the table is there with us, now in the questions we just have to look at the table and we have to answer the questions. Nothing else is to be done और कुछ भी नहीं करना है, ठीक है? So now the questions would take hardly 2 minutes. And I repeat from, I request basically from all of you that please share this session with the other guys as well on your WhatsApp or Telegram group so that we have more people in these sessions. It will be always better for us when more and more interaction is there with the people. चलिए, let's have a look at the questions now. How many नया mixer grinders were purchased in 1999? नया mixer grinders purchased in 1999. So can I say my answer for this question is equal to 50? So B option, that is 50, is the correct answer. Next year, how many Naya mixer grinders were disposed of by the end of 2000? By the end means all the figures which are disposed of by 2000. So how many of them were disposed of by the end of 2000? 10 were disposed of here, 6 was disposed of here. So 10 plus 6, I can say 16 of them were disposed of by this year. 16 of them were disposed of by this year. Next question. How many Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 2000? Purana mixer grinders disposed of in 2000. That is this figure. Now this figure cannot be determined. So the answer is option D. And last, how many Purana mixer grinders were purchased in 1999? So that I can surely say that in 1999, 20 Purana mixer grinders were purchased. So the answer for fourth question is A20. ठीक है, as I said, once the table is there in front of us, फिर तो question बहुत आसानी से हो जाते हैं. You just have to look at them, answer it, look at them, answer it, and that's it. Your job is done. I'm sure no one is having any question in any of these questions that we just did. No doubt about them, because of course once the table is understood, फिर तो काम आसान ही था हम लोगों के लिए. That was a question for you from CAT 2004. And now I move forward to the next set, which is again a CAT set which we'll be discussing. And I see, yes, Sonali is getting the right answers as well. Supreme Gaming, Gitanjali, Ritik, Mohit, very good guys. So you all are saying understood. So I would request again that please keep responding on chat box. It will be good for us. So here is the second set. The font of this set would be slightly lesser because I was not able to write all the data on one single screen, but I'm sure that you would be able to read it. I tried to keep it maximum possible, but I wanted you all to see the graph as well. So therefore it was important so that you can see the graph as well as you can see the data. So here is a question from CAT 2005 now. The question from CAT 2005. Okay, the question which is there on your screen. I found some questions from bar graphs in the recent years as well, but I somehow just left them because they were too easy to be discussed. So मुझे लगा I'll take better sets from the previous years rather than taking some easy sets from current years. So this is the second set that we are going to discuss now. All of you read the data and then we'll start solving this. Or we can start discussing it together. एक काम और भी कर सकते हैं. That we start reading it together and do it together. चलिए करते हैं. Answer the question on the basis of the information below. A management institute was established on January 1, 2000 with 3, 4, 5 and 6 faculty members in marketing, organizational behavior, finance and operations area respectively. So in marketing we have 3 members, in OB we have 4, in finance we have 5 and in operations management we have 6 members. This he has already told us. No faculty member retired or joined the institute in the first 3 months of the year 2000. So that means in January, February, March, no faculty member joined, no faculty member retired. So basically they remained 3, 4, 5 and 6 in these 4 categories. After that, all these new, अच्छा उसके बाद लिखा है यहां से, in the next 4 years, the institute recruited 1 faculty member in each of the 4 areas. In every area, a faculty member was recruited. So a faculty member was recruited here, a faculty member was recruited here, a faculty member was recruited here, and a faculty member was recruited here. All these new faculty members who joined the institute subsequently over the years were 25 years old at the time of their joining the institute. So all these people had an age of 25 years when they joined the institute. This is what is given to us. Next. All of them joined the institute on April 1. During these 4 years, one of the faculty members retired at the age of 60. So from one of these areas, a member retired as well at an age of 60. Okay? और यहां पे ये नहीं लिखा है from each of them. It says one of the faculty members retired at an age of 60. जबकि यहां लिखा था that in the next 4 years, in each of the 4 areas a member joined. यहां पे लिखा है one faculty member retired. He did not say from each of the 4 areas. कहीं से कोई एक आदमी रिटायर कर गया है, and he also says that one faculty member joined in each of the 4 areas. These are the two things with us till now. The following diagram gives the area-wise average age in terms of number of completed years of faculty members as on April 1 of 2001, 2 and 3. ये हमारे पास डेटा उन सब का है. Now, in this set there are some important things. If you just notice, you can find the things very easily and you will understand them quite well. Can I say that in all of these areas, these are showing the average age of these members. So this average age is always less than 60 and it is always greater than 40. Is that correct, guys? Just look at all these figures. The average age is always less than 60. Rather, maximum average age is here 52.5. And it is always more than 40. Rather, it is always more than 43. The minimum average age is 43. Average age of all the members is lying between 43 and 52.5. Now, it's a question of, I would say, general understanding of averages. If all the members have an average age of more than 40 and a member at an age of 25 years joined, सभी लोग 40 से ऊपर के हैं, a member at an age of 25 years joins, can I say suddenly the average will drop? Is that correct? All people are above 40 years old, a young man joined at an age of 25, so average is definitely going to drop. So whenever a new member is going to join, can we surely say that the average age is going to drop? I hope all of you are agreed with it. As you can see in marketing, it dropped here 49.33 से 44 हो गई. Then it increased by 1 every year. It increased by 1 every year, but it dropped here. It dropped here, then it increased by 1 every year. Whereas in this case, I see there were 2 drops. So in all other categories, I see that once the average dropped, whereas in one of the categories, the average dropped twice. So can I say this dropped twice because one time the member must have joined and one time the member must have retired? Because when a person retires, again the average would drop. All the members are 44, 45, 46 years old. Suddenly a person of the age 60 goes out. So can I say average drop हो जाएगी, सबको लगेगा oh an old man has gone. So now the average age of the group must have decreased. तो पक्का decrease हुई होगी. So when it is decreasing twice in case of finance, can I say finance is the category in which a member joined as well as a member retired. One member would have joined in one of the years. I don't know whether this year or this year. But इन दोनों में से किसी एक ईयर में a member must have joined, a member must have retired. But in all other years, जैसे marketing की बात करता हूं, in case of marketing, in 2000 it was 49.33. Suddenly it became 44. That means a member must have joined. After that, it straight away increased by 1 every year because if no one would join, no one would retire. So straight away every person will grow old by 1 year. तो अगर कुछ लोगों की average age currently 44 है, next year it will be 45. Next to next year it will be 46, next to next year it will be 47. It will keep increasing by 1, right? So when drop is there, it is because of someone joining, and otherwise it is always increasing by 1. In one of the categories, 2 drops are there. That means one of them is joining, the other one is retiring. इन दोनों की वजह से आया. Also, you might have this question, sir, ये कैसे पता चलेगा कब join किया, कब retire किया? Just have a look at this. 50.2 is the average age this year. Okay. Now 50.2 is the average age. When a member joins, he joins at an age of 25. When a member retires, he retires at an age of 60. 60 is very close to 50.2 with respect to 25. 25 बहुत दूर है. So when a very small number would come up, average would reduce by a lot. But when very close number would go out, the average would not reduce by much. यहां पे एवरेज सिर्फ 1.2 से रिड्यूस हो रही है, whereas यहां पे एवरेज 4 से रिड्यूस हो रही है. So अगर 4 से reduce हुई है, that means a person must have joined, and when it decreased by 1.2, a person must have retired. I repeat, the person who's retiring, his age is very close to the average, but a person who's joining, his age is far away from the average. जब एवरेज से बहुत दूर का नंबर आता है तो ज्यादा ड्रॉप आता है एवरेज में, बट व्हेन एक नंबर वेरी क्लोज टू द एवरेज गोज आउट तो ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है ना. I mean, the average age of a group is 50 years. A man of age 53 goes out. You would say, यार ज्यादा फर्क क्या पड़ेगा? He was also almost like 50. 50, 53 में कितना ही difference है? The average would become 49.8, 49.7. But when I talk about a person joining at an age of 25 in a group of 50, तो यार ये तो बहुत ज्यादा गैप लेके आ रहा है. It is going to change. ये सुना मैं ये बताता हूं कि कैसे डिक्लाइन हो रहा है और मतलब कैसे पता लगा. देखो मैं एक अंदाजा आपको यहां बताता हूं फ्रॉम मार्केटिंग. इन मार्केटिंग वी नो there are 3 people. Average age is 49.33, so 3 into 49.33, this is equal to how much? 148 years. So in तीनों members की total age 148. I am saying a new member has joined next year, इसीलिए drop आया है. How? देखते हैं. If 4 people are there, a new member has joined, and the average age of these 4 people is 44. So 4 into 44 is 176, right? Now, by the next year, these 3 members जिनकी age 148 थी, कहने से by next year their age must have become 151. तीनों लोगों की age 111 increase हो गई. The total age of these 3 members became 151. But group का average 176 है. So what is the difference in these two? 25. This 25 is the age of that new member. यही तो कहा था. That new member that comes in, he must be having an age of 25. This is what it is showing to you. Similarly here, I'll say कि मैं कह रहा हूं यहां रिटायर हुआ है. कैसे? फाइनेंस में there are 5 people. What is the total age of 5 people? 50.2 into 5, that is equal to 251. Now next year these 5 people would have their age 256. सही बात है भाई, सबकी एज 1 year increase हो गई. Total age of the 5 people became 256. If a member of 60 years would retire, what is the age of the remaining people? 196. And now how many people are there? 4. So what is the average? 196 by 4. Doesn't it come out to be exactly 49? But my point is, why to do this calculation? I can straight away by looking at the graph can do it. And that's what I wanted to tell you, that many a times these graphs would be very important for you, because just by looking at these graphs you can answer the questions as you can do here. I'm sure all of you understood it now. Please tell me fast in the chat box if you have understood it. Press the like button as well if you have understood this part. सबको समझ आई ये बात? That how by looking at the graph we can say whether a person has retired or a person has joined, what has happened. So till now I see only Sonali is replying, no one else is doing that. So please reply on that if you all have understood that part. And once this is understood, of course, once we can straight away start doing the questions. This is the first question. From which area did the faculty member retire? We discussed about it. It must be finance. The faculty member retired from finance. Second question. In which year did the new faculty member join the finance area? तो फाइनेंस एरिया में कब ज्वाइन किया? आई टोल्ड यू, यहां पे एक आदमी रिटायर हुआ और यहां पे ही मस्ट हैव ज्वाइंड. दिस इज द थर्ड ईयर विच इज 2002. सो सी ऑप्शन इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ओके, नेक्स्ट. What was the age of the new faculty member who joined the OM area as on April 1, 2003? Age of the new faculty member who joined the OM area. So the person who joined the OM area, उसने यहां पे join किया है. That is in 2001. Question says what is his age in 2003? Of course, when he joined, he was 25. Everyone who joined, he was 25. He says in 2003, that means 2 years later. 2 years later, he would be 27. So C option is the correct answer for this particular question. Okay, thank you Mohit, Supreme Gaming, Gitanjali, Pallavi, Sonali, everyone. So these 3 questions are done pretty fast, but now comes the 4th question. It's a bit long. We'll do it, but Professors Naresh and Devesh, 2 faculty members in the marketing area who have been with the institute since its inception, share a birthday which falls on 20th November. One was born in 1947, one was born in 1950. So one of these guys was born in 20th November 1947 and one of them was born on 20th November 1950. ये दो लोग हैं, Mr. Naresh and Devesh. On April 1, 2005, what was the age of the third faculty member who has been in the same area since inception? Now, he's talking about marketing area, which had 3 members initially. The total average age was 49.33, and these are the averages on 1st April 2000. So, can I say on 1st April 2000, the total age of all 3 members was 148? 49.33 into 3 was the total age of the 3 members in 1st April 2000. ठीक है, 148 total age था. Now this guy was born on 20th November 1947. So what was the age of Mr. Naresh on this day? So Naresh ji की age इस दिन कितनी थी? The age of Mr. Naresh must have been 1947 से अगर मैं जा रहा हूं 1997 तक, he would be 50 years. By 98, 51. By 99, 52. 20th November 99 से 1st April 2000 तक there are some 4.5 months. So he must have been 52 years and approximately 4 months. And Mr. Devesh must have been, of course, 49 years and 4 months. Straight away उनमें तो difference 3 years का है, because they have the same birthday. The only year is different. So the total age of these two members is 52 plus 49, 101 years and 8 months. So what is the age of the third guy यहाँ पे? What is the age of the third guy? 148 minus 101 year 8 months. It is 46 years and 4 months. 46 year 4 months age कब है? In 2000. Question is asking about 2005. That is 5 years later. So 5 years later the age of this guy would be 51 years 4 months, and 51 years 4 months in years would be 51. So 51 would be given as the right answer for this question. So this was a slightly long question, but again you can see we have done this in the previous classes as well, that whenever you talk about LRDI, it is not necessary that you have to do each and every question of each and every set. As you can see in this set as well, we got the first 3 questions pretty fast, so just do them and move away if you find the 4th question long enough. आपको लगता है that this is doable, you have understood, तो कर लो. Otherwise I would always say 3 question करो और आगे बढ़ जाओ. That is the best approach of doing this question. Okay, so I hope you have understood the second set as well. Now we'll move on to the third one. If you liked it, please press the like button as well, and as I said, call more and more people into these sessions. I really want to see more people in these sessions so that we have a good session where people are answering a lot and we are discussing. You have doubts and you ask me doubts, we discuss that, because that's the only way through which you can improve your LRDI. You also must have seen that now. ठीक है, क्वांट तो प्रिपेयर कर ले रहे हैं, वर्बल हो जा रहा है, बट हाउ टू प्रिपेयर LRDI वी डोंट हैव एनी क्लू अबाउट इट. It's pure practice, but during that practice someone should be able to tell you, okay, there you are going wrong, this is a mistake that you are making, this is the right way of doing the question, this is what you would have done in this set, these questions you can leave, this is the shortcut of this question, this is where you can use the options. These all things we should be doing in these sessions. That is the basic purpose of these. Okay, चलिए जी, let's move forward to the third set now. Now this third set, as you can see on your screen, it is based upon cumulative bar graph. Now what is a cumulative bar graph? Cumulative bar graph is a graph in which the total of each bar is equal to 100%. The total of each bar is 100%. It is cumulative, just like how many students have taken physics in a class, how many students have taken chemistry, how many students have taken mathematics. So different percentages would be there. So ultimately, if in the class these are the only 3 subjects that a person can take, then you will find that some of those 3 percentages would be 100%. People who have taken physics, people who would have taken chemistry, people who would have taken maths, उनकी percentages add करोगे तो वो 100 बन जाएगा, because there is no one else in the class. That way. Okay. So just read it once and then we will start doing this set as well. फिर इसको भी करना शुरू करेंगे. एक बार पढ़ लीजिए, then we'll be talking about this. Okay, I'm sure you would have read it, so we can start doing it now. Let's start. Answer the questions on the basis of the information given below. The following cumulative bar graph shows details of the run scoring pattern of four Indian batsmen in a 2020 match against England, in which runs were scored only in singles, fours, and sixes. The total score of the Indian team was the sum of the scores of these batsmen only, or in other words, no other batsman scored runs nor the English team conceded any extras. So this tells us about four batsmen, Rohit, Virat, Shreyas and Jadeja, that how many runs did they score in singles, how many runs in fours and how many runs in sixes they have made. That all data is there. Okay. Sonali Raj, that yes, you can say by default will take 100%. Either it is 100% or it is the 100% of a number. I mean, he might say in a bar graph that the number of students who would have taken physics, chemistry, maths और क्लास में 60 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, इसका मतलब that bar is equal to 60. और अगर percentage terms में बोलेगा then you would take total as 100%. That's absolutely correct. Okay. Now, how do we move forward and what exactly would be he is asking in the question? So, if I look at the question, what is the minimum possible score of Jadeja? How can I figure it out? That what is the minimum possible score of Jadeja? The point is, Jadeja has made 25% of the runs in singles and he has made 75% of the runs in sixes. So let's say Jadeja has made X number of runs. So 25% of X, 25% of X, that is X by 4, he would have made in singles, and 75% of X, 75% of X is 3X by 4, he would have made in sixes. The point is, in sixes, you can only make a multiple of 6. In sixes, you can't make 3 runs. In sixes, you can't make 9 runs, 7 runs, 10 runs, 11 runs. वो तो नहीं कर सकते. In sixes, you can only score either 6 or 12 or 18 or 24, so on and so forth. Sixes में तो 6 का multiple ही बनेगा. So if 3x by 4 is a multiple of 6, so what can I take x as? First of all, x must be a multiple of 4. क्योंकि 4 ही नहीं होगा तो फिर तो ये फ्रैक्शन में आ जाएगा. So x को 4 तो मुझे लेना ही लेना है, but if I take x as 4, x को 4 लेने से 3x by 4 comes out to be 3, which is not a multiple of 6. Take the next multiple of 4, 8. 3 into 8 by 4 is 6. Yes, it satisfies. So by taking x is equal to 8, it becomes a multiple of 6. And by taking x is equal to 8, it becomes 8 by 4 too, which is, of course, can be scored in singles. So what is the minimum possible score of Jadeja? I would say his minimum possible score is 8, because in any other case, you would not have 25% of the runs in singles and 75% of the runs in sixes. I repeat, the important point was, in sixes you can make only a multiple of 6, and in fours you can make only a multiple of 4. In singles you can only make a multiple of 1. So we just try to figure out those numbers which can make them a multiple of 6 or a multiple of 4 or a multiple of 1, depending upon what is the question asking. Okay? Is this clear to everyone? Can you please tell me, all of you, have you understood the concept of this particular question? Anyone having any doubt about it? I hope all of you can hear me. Sonali, Pallavi, Gitanjali, Mohit Rao, Supreme Gaming, or any other name which I might be missing. I am just looking at some of the names which I just saw before this. So Ritik, Mohit Rao and others. So I hope you all are able to understand this part of it. है ना? चलिए. Let's move ahead. Now look at the second question. Who scored the highest in the match? Who scored the highest in the match? Okay. So now I see clear from Mohit Rao, Gitanjali, Supreme Gaming, Pallavi. That's great, guys. Thank you. तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now when I talk about Jadeja, we discussed that Jadeja must have minimum made 8 runs, right? Even if he makes 16, still this is possible. Even if he makes 32, this is possible. Even if he makes 64, this is possible. Basically, he can make any multiple of 8. By the same logic, I can say Shreyas made multiple of this. I can say Virat made multiple of this. I can say Rohit made multiple of this. The point is, without solving, I can say that these guys are making multiples of some number. When you are making in multiples of some number, how can you say which one is the highest? जडेजा 8 स्कोर कर सकता है, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 1020, कुछ भी हो सकता है. ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन से सर 2020 है, कितने रन बनवाओगे, ये पॉसिबल है, ठीक बात है. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट ऑल दीज गाइज अबाउट देम, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ विराट, I get to know that Virat score should be a multiple of 100. But still Jadeja can score more than Virat. If Virat scores 100 and Jadeja scores, let's say, a multiple of 8, which is more than 100. So can't Jadeja score a multiple of 8, let's say 128? He can. That's a possibility. So therefore, for this question, I can straight away say the answer should be, cannot be determined, because of one single reason, that from this graph, I would only get to know who is making in multiples of which number, but we can't say who scores the highest or who scores the lowest. That can't be determined. Okay, चलिए आगे आते हैं. Question number 3. England scored 83 for the loss of 6 wickets in reply to India's total after the allotted 20 overs. Then which country won the match? England scores 83. So what is India's score? We know Jadeja's score is a multiple of 8. Similarly, can I figure out for others? जैसे रोहित के लिए बात करता हूं, Rohit scored 60% of the runs in sixes. So if Rohit score is R, 60% of that is in sixes. That means 3R by 5 should be a multiple of 6. Also, Rohit scored 40% of runs in fours. So 40% of runs should be in fours. So 2R by 5 should be a multiple of 4. Again, by the same logic, R must be a multiple of 5 first of all, वरना तो ये डेसिमल आ जाएगा. R को 5 लेता हूं, it does not become a multiple of 6. R को next multiple ले लो, that is 10. If I take R as 10, so 10 into 3 by 5 is 6, which is a multiple of 6. 10 into 2 by 5 is 4, which is a multiple of 4. So Rohit must have scored in multiples of 10. Rohit must have scored in multiples of 10. जडेजा का multiple of 8. Similarly, let's calculate for Virat as well. Virat का स्कोर क्या है? 36%. विराट का स्कोर मान लीजिए V है. 36% of that should be a multiple of 6. That means 4 से कैंसिल आउट कर दूं तो 9V by 25 should be a multiple of 6. 24% of Virat score, that V into 24 by 100 should be a multiple of 4. So I can say 6V by 25 is a multiple of 4. और बाकी 40% की तो जरूरत ही नहीं है, because in any case it will be a multiple of 1 if V is a multiple of those numbers. So from here I can say 9V by 25 should be a multiple of 6. So can I say V must be a multiple of 50? भाई 25 लेता हूं तो 9 आ जाता है, but 25 का next multiple when I take 50 it becomes 18, which is a multiple of 6. Similarly, that 50 does satisfy this as well. So I can say Virat scored in a multiple of 50, and by the same logic I can say Shreyas scored in a multiple of 16, because this is 3 by 8. 3 by 8 of 16 ही 6 का multiple बनेगा, which will satisfy the other cases too. From here I can say the minimum possible score of India. The minimum possible score of India is 10 by Rohit, 50 by Virat, 16 by Shreyas and 8 by Jadeja. That is equal to 84. India's minimum score is 84 and England's score is 83 for the loss of 6 wickets. So I am definitely sure India is going to win the match, because even if they score their minimum possible multiple, still they would be able to score more than the total score of England. They would be able to score 84 and they will win the match. I hope all of you got it. So this was one of the sets which are based upon stacked bar graphs. इसको stacked bar graph बोलते हैं. And that was all from my side, guys. So I hope you would have learned the concept of bar graphs today. कुछ फायदा हुआ होगा. And I will keep doing this in upcoming sessions as well. Probably in the next session, I'll be talking about pie charts now and the different kind of pie charts that have appeared in CAT. Please do like the session. If you find them useful, do comment on it. If you want any changes in the sessions, you want something else to do, तो उसके बारे में बताइएगा. And please do this for sure. share it with more and more people, because really it will be a good exercise if we have some 100 people discussing about some questions, so we are getting answers from different sides, so that competition sense is always there while doing those questions, है ना. हमें लगेगा कोई पहले आंसर दे रहा है, किसी को गलत आंसर दे रहा है. I would also be very happy to give you all the details about it and to clear your doubts. So please do that and do subscribe to the channel for more of such sessions. As I see someone said, नैन्सी शर्मा कह रही है कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, 10 days के बाद सीमेट का एग्जाम है. नैन्सी, आई वुड जस्ट से वन थिंग, go through BYJU'S exam prep channel. We keep taking different kind of sessions. So I think just yesterday or day before we had a session where we were talking about what is the strategy to prepare for CMAT. We had a session where we talked about what all things would be there in CMAT. ठीक है, और आगे भी हम लोग जो है ना इस तरह की चीजें करते रहेंगे. So just stick to the channel. I am very sure you will get all the details from there. Okay. So that's all from my side, guys. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. See you soon. Bye bye, and meet you in the next session then. Till now, bye bye. Good night.